Hey, good Thursday evening to you. What's happening, folks? It is good to see you, and it is good to be seen by you. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful evening. One of my lights is pointing in the wrong direction. I'm kind of half in shadow here. Need to hop up and adjust that, if you'll pardon me for just a minute. But as you can see, there we go. As you can see, I rode the storm out. I am here. I am in one piece, as is most everything else, the things that are supposed to be. Hello, Damien. It's good to see you. But, yeah, I'm just going to enjoy a little libation tonight. I'm finishing off this Guinness pour. I'm going to let this settle. I know how to do this. I wish it was the Guinness Nitro Cold Brew. Imperial Ramblings got me addicted to that. That is some delicious stuff. I am glad I waved the storm, survived the storm, rode the storm out too. I've been up for about 36 hours now, straight. I was on Stormwatch last night, and before you criticize me too much, first of all, you should know who I am. I, of course, am the Dungeon Delver, and welcome to our little show. But I had white papers to write that I'm still working on, that I got a little bit more breathing room on finishing up, which makes me happy. And I also, I get this nervous energy. I can't sleep during a hurricane, and it worked to my advantage last night. And I'll tell you this kind of amusing story. So when I came in from walking the dog in the evening before the really heavy weather started, I closed my front door behind me, which if you watch the short video about Hurricane Ian, you kind of understand where I'm talking about. So I closed that door behind me. And then, the evening went on. About 2 o'clock this morning, 2:30, I hear this loud bang, and I'm like, okay, a tree branch hit the house, debris, something. So I got up after a few minutes. I went out in the living room. My front door is open. It has been blown open because it didn't latch. So I was like, oh my gosh, that's not good. So I close it, I secure it. I'm puttering around the office. And I notice I'm getting these weird air currents, and it's really damp, and I'm starting to, humid, and I'm starting to worry. I'm starting to think, like, what if there's also been damage to my roof? And the reason I can feel that humidity is because I have a leak now. I'm missing a chunk of roof. When I'm that sleepy, though, I really shouldn't be painting. So now I'm a little worried, and I opened the door over here, and there's Chow Yun Fat, Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I opened that door, and it's practically snatched out of my hand, and there's this rush of cold air. And if I was someone who believed in ghosts, I would have been spooked, except for the storm. So I'm like, there's some weird air current things going on, but I'm like, why? What is happening? So I proceed to check out the roofs and all the rooms and the ceilings in all the rooms, and I'm walking around, and finally I get to my den, which is in a direct straight line from the front door. I go over to my den and I turn on the lights in the den. My back door is blown open. It is hanging wide open to my jungle-like backyard. So I said, well, that isn't right. So I went over and shut the door and latched it. So basically what happened was, when the door, the front door blew open because it wasn't latched, the gust of air blew the back door open because it wasn't latched. So that was about as exciting as it got last night. The rest was a slog through DevOps security white papers that I am writing and not enjoying at all, but I will enjoy the paycheck that comes with them. So who am I to complain? Nobody. That's who. How are you guys doing? I hope no hurricanes. And if you're in the neighborhoods where they are, I know Doomsword is down here. He got schwacked. Hopefully he's doing okay. Let us know how you are, brother. Brother. But anyway, so that's what's going on there. We were about, I would say, 2/3 of the way through the Melnibonean mythos. We're fixing to move on to those. And we had last talked about Nuru-Ah, Master of Kettle, which is a giant pacifistic cow that does nothing but heal. So let us just jump right into it and move on and talk then about Michael Moorcock's stuff. Alexander, what's happening? Good to see you. But yeah, let's share a screen. And I hope you guys have got your libations. Cheers. Here's hopefully to the end of another hurricane season. I do love Guinness. That's not a sponsor, by the way. So here we go. Oh, we got to zoom in. You guys can't see that. So we have the Unai. You know what would have been nice of Jim? To mention the specific books where the Lovecraft mythos and the Melnibonean mythos came in. You know, they mentioned the books like at the top of the section, but like what Moorcock book were the Unai in? You know, we don't know. An Elric book, but that's about as good as it gets, right? So the Unai are 10 hit dice, treasure type F, variable attacks and damage. That's always a hold up. 5 feet tall at the shoulder, big fella. These beings are natural shape changers and are fully capable of using all of the chosen shape's non-magical powers. They will only change into monsters or beast types and will only attack one at a time, with the most powerful Unai attacking first. Though they cannot change into monsters of greater than 10 hit dice, they always retain their armor class of -2 and their original hit points regardless of forms. No one knows what their actual form looks like. Maybe they don't either. Maybe they forgot. Pyre, Whisperer of Impossible Secrets. And there we have that lovely Jeff D looking octopus there. 6 attacks for 5 to 40 each. Guess what? He's chaotic evil. He's a fighter, magic user, illusionist. Has some psionic ability. This terrible being is the Lord of the Ocean Abysses. He appears as a huge blood-red octopus with a pulsing blue gem affixed atop his head. He attacks with his 6 tentacles for 5 to 40 points of damage each. I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going. He will not lose his last 10 hit points until his gem is crushed. This gem has all the hardness of any high-quality diamond. Pyre commands the Chaos Fleet, a flotilla of sunken ships manned by undead sailors. It's a frog! Well, a toad. It's fighting Roof Track. Anyway. So that's the octopus man himself. Quail. It's unique. It's chaotic evil. And it is a giant toad-shaped demon from the abyss. Kryllarn is immune to petrification and polymorph and has a saving throw of 3 for everything else. It must bite its prey, attacking as a 16-hit die monster to affect them. When striking any creature this way, it drains 4 energy levels, no saving throw, per melee round, plus 1 to 10 points of normal damage. If it is killed before completely draining a victim, the victim will regain his or her lost levels at a rate of 1 turn per level lost. Yeah, Kung Fu Octopus, man. Chaotic evil Kung Fu underwater octopus. That's an adventure idea. That's free. You can use that. I recommend you do. Write it down. Roofdrak, master of all dogs. He's a demigod. 97 hit points, armor class -2. Chris, we can take him. Number of attacks 1, damage per attack 9 to 90. He's neutral. He's from the demi-plane of dogs. Oh. He's got the great stats. Roofdrak appears as a giant wolfhound with an upright stance and manipulative paws. He uses a huge lead mace in battle and is able to sense anything within the sensory range of any canine. In battle, he can summon 1 to 100 direwolves to fight by his side. While he has few human worshippers, all canines are aware of him and pay him homage. And that is, of course, Errol Otis's artwork. Who else could it be? What do we got next here? Strasha, Lord of the Water Elementals. Armor class 2, hit points 189. He's a lesser god, by the way. He's neutral. He is a 19th level fighter. Magic user, illusionist, see below. I'm going to guess any water-based spells he can cast. That's my guess. Put your guess for what his special magic user illusion is. If you know, don't blurt it out. Don't spoil it for everyone else. Put it in the chat. Tell me what you think his special magic user illusionist is going to be. I think, personally, it's going to be any water-based magic user or illusionist spells he can use. That's what I'm thinking. So let's find out the reveal. This creature appears to be a huge humanoid with green skin and turquoise hair and beard. As ruler of the water elementals, Strasha has double the power of normal water elementals, plus the ability to cast all water spells at the 20th level of magical use. Oh yeah, I called it. He is the only one of his type not affected by heat-based attacks. He can summon 3 to 18 of his kindred to aid him in battle. Strasha can strike with 2 waves of water per round that hit for 8 to 48 points each. These are created by the being out of the thin air. There is no water in this air. A Frozone joke there for you. While he has few, if any, human worshippers, many water elementals and water creatures are aware of Strasha and pay him homage. Jim must have been getting paid by the letter. Instead of worship him, pay him homage. Theleb Ka'arna, evil wizard. 44 hit points, armor class 10. We can take him. Special attack, see below. He's lawful evil. 15th level magic user, 8th level illusionist. An evil Pantangian wizard. This man was able to call upon demons, elementals of unusual power, and demigods from other planes to help him. He uses a special 7th level spell bequested to him by his ancestors. I think it would have been bequeathed to him by his ancestors, but somebody wants to check me out there. For all of these summonings, it is said that the spell will only work for those of Pantang blood. Theleb Ka'arna is a powerful enemy who often fights Elric and has tried to kill him on several occasions. He got his. Spoiler alert. Theleb Ka'arna got his. and this absolutely magnificent drawing by Errol Otis. Tell me straight up, does that not look like his name's right on the tip of my tongue. David Carradine is Kwai Chang King there, or in any one of his science fiction or fantasy roles, I guess I should say. But that is Theleb Arna. Vampire trees. That sucks. Guess that's kind of nice. That's like Grome, you know. It's a tree, and I don't have much to work with. Number of attacks 1 to 10, damage 2 to 8. They're low intelligence, neutral evil. These creatures use their leaves as attacking weapons. They are released from the branches to float downward and attempt to attach themselves, attacking as 12 hit die monsters to a body. When attached, they suck blood, doing 2 to 8 points of damage per attached leaf. Damage is automatic after the first successful attack. Each attached leaf continuing to drain 2 to 8 hit points per round. The leaves are AC 9 and each only has 2 hit points plus any hit point drained from a victim. The leaves will return to the tree when any being travels more than 120 yards from the parent tree, or when the creature has no blood left. The tree can only control 10 leaves at a time. Only you can prevent forests. Vampire trees save versus fire at a -2 penalty and take 1 extra point of damage for every die of damage done by flame. They fear fire and will never send their leaves near a flame. You make them fear Agent Orange. Vulture lion. Because the vulture dogs, the Darzi hunting dogs earlier were not enough. We have the vulture lions. They're neutral. They're 25% magic resistant. They are immune to fear. No, they're chaotic neutral. 3 attacks. Ow, these guys are bad news. 4 to 24 twice, and then 3 to 18. 15 hit dice. Good Lord. Do the trees sparkle in direct sunlight? I don't know. Created by Elric's ancestors from the fiber of chaos, these beasts have the body of a lion and the head and talons of a vulture. When summoned from their home plane of limbo by one with the power to command them, they will fight fiercely, never needing to check morale. If improperly summoned, they will attempt to slay the summoner, returning to limbo afterwards. There's a lovely trio of them there. Quartet. And somebody, given the black sword, probably Elric, screwed something up. Oh, the Sturmund Drang. Yurkun. And before we get to Yurkun, Zionbarg. Who looks rather mannish in that drawing by Jeff D there. The picture does not show Zionbarg's assets very well. That's not a good scan. She is 376 hit points. Is she a minor deity or a major deity? I can't recall. Greater God. Okay. Her symbol is her. She just carries around copies of Playboy or something, you know. Zionbarg appears on the prime material plane as a slim young girl and wields a great double-edged battle axe in battle. This is a +4 weapon that glows with a light blue radiance and inflicts 7 to 42 points of damage on a hit, plus strength bonus, paralyzing any being who does not save versus this effect. And she has the stack of stats. She craves blood and souls, much as Ariok does, and may respond favorably to proper sacrifices. Yurkun, evil hero. 84 hit points, armor class -4, chaotic evil, 15th level fighter, 17th level magic user, 5th level bard. This evil prince of Melnibone is Elric's cousin and an implacable enemy of his. Your Coon can also use many unusual spells which his and Elric's ancestors developed. He's been known to fight with Mournblade, twin to Elric's enchanted blade Stormbringer. This weapon's ability are similar in all respect to those of Stormbringer. And that is that. I mean, we're only like 21 minutes in. We might as well start the Naywan mythos. Now, let me tell you something. This is from me to you. This is my gift to you. If you haven't read the complete stories of Fafhrd and Grey Mouser, as written by Fritz Leiber, who is a friend of Gary Gygax's, do so. You are flying on 3 engines. You have a flat in one of your tires. You have a shadow in your mind. You need to read the Naywan mythos. They are awesome. They are funny. They are tragic. They are sexy. They are adventurous. And it is everything good about middle pulp fantasy. Not high fantasy, not low fantasy, but middle fantasy. Do read these books. So, let's find out why they're so awesome, at least in a D&D context. And yes, there was a Fafhrd and Grey, or there was a Lankmar stuff, or some Lankmar stuff. I don't know if it was for early 2E or late 1E. I've never seen them before. When I wanted some Fafhrd and Grey Mouser stuff for D&D, I went to Deities and Demigods. The world of Naywan is the creation of the famous fantasy author Fritz Leiber. In it are a vast variety of gods, and heroes of the best and worst sort. It is a world where magic is mixed with adventure to form a land that is very enjoyable to read about. Striding through the pages of Leiber's books are 2 extraordinary characters, Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser. And in case you're curious, little spoiler alert, if you haven't read these books, we never find out what Mouser's given name is. The first is a huge barbarian from the cold north, and the second is a swarthy man from the decadent depths of the city. These 2 combine to create a set of stories that will delight and thrill all those who read them. Jim, you're a wordsmith, and I couldn't have put it better myself, brother. These characters live and play in the city of Lankmar, the oldest center of civilization on the planet. Within the walls of the city lie everything an AD&D player could ask for. This material includes a concept of God's Land. This is an area on the astral plane where most of the gods reside, irrespective of their alignment. From this area, they keep an eye on and are often called to help the respective cults. Note, before developing the creatures and deities of this series, some attention should be given to a few of the organizations of the world of Naywan. Thieves Guild of Lankmar. This group is the perfection of the gangster's dream. It actively seeks to eliminate any thieves not of its membership and has the tacit support of the people of the city who fear to report members of the guild to law enforcement authorities. The members all study intensive training courses in all aspects of the thieving art, which means that instructors are always available for those studying to advance a level. The guild is led by a 12th level master thief, and he attempts to prevent other members from becoming as skilled as he. At any given time, there are 3 to 24 members who are about the 5th level of ability. This does not include the many lesser thieves who are members. Their guild hall appears to be an old mansion, but has actually become a well-disguised disguised fortress with many levels underground with escape tunnels which lead to exits all over Lankmar. Slayer's Brotherhood, raining blood from a lacerated sky. The Brotherhood passes as the bodyguard division of Lankmar. Any type of fighter from the 1st to 10th level can be hired for a price. All types of classes of people in Lankmar use the Brotherhood for jobs. While openly it displays an uninspired, ignorant facade, in reality it is a subtle, powerful force in the city. Its leader and all of the most powerful members are expert or better assassins. The Guildmaster Assassin is also watchful of his subordinates and tries to kill those that advance to prime assassin level. He's quite wily, like his old man. Snow Witches. Witches, man, witches! Many of the northern tribes have a group of women that have a measure of magical power. These women, after some preparations and working together, can control all forms of cold and ice spells. They also possess, among the strongest members, a limited telepathy when in direct eye contact with a human. Given a group of 5 women in 24 hours of time, limited weather control, chilling is possible. This effect has a range of 5 miles. Fire Sorcerers of the East. These men come from the always uncertain East, and while never attaining high levels in the magical arts, they are still able to master fire spells and illusions of this type to a high level of excellence. They can use all fire-oriented spells at twice their level of ability, e.g. a 9th level spellcaster of this type can use fire spells as an 18th level magic user. To compensate for this specialization, they are limited to half their level of ability in all other spell areas. And we scroll up. Gems. In Fritz Leiber's work, some gems have very special powers. A case in point are the jeweled skulls and hands of the dead masters of the Thieves Guild. These gems give the power of life and locomotion to these dead bodies' parts. In the case of Urgans of Angargni's tower, for example, the gems placed at its center animated the structure, giving it the power to move itself internally and kill intruders. Gems are often magical containers of souls and life, phylacteries basically, or sources of strange powers. Cults of the Beast. On the world of Nehwon, there is a belief held in common by all of the mortals of the planet that there exist 13 perfect specimens of each of the animal creatures of the world. These 13 are fully intelligent and are the models for all the individual members of the species to look up to. They exist to aid either a pivotal member or a large group of species that is threatened. Belief in these perfect 13 groups has caused some mortals to develop a worship of them in order to take advantage of the chance to sometimes use them to further mortal concerns. It is said that to capture and control one of these 13 will result in the control of the whole species. And now we come to it. Fafard, hero, armor class 320 hit points. Number of attacks 2. He is neutral good. And that is art by Jacques. Lots of great art by Jacques in this, I should point out. 15th level ranger, 13th level thief, 5th level bard, great stats, 18 double nuts on the strength. This northern red-haired barbarian is the strong arm of the 2-hero team. Taking special interest in languages, he can read and write all the major ones of Nehwon, and there's an 80% chance that he will understand any obscure one he is exposed to. He always carries a bastard sword, which he always names Grey Wand, and a dirk, more short sword or poignard than anything else. He calls Heartseeker. He sometimes fights with a hand axe balanced for throwing in his left hand. He's also adept with a longbow. Fafard is able to climb walls and hide in shadows with a plus 20% over his usual thiefly base. Coming from the frigid plains of the cold north, this barbarian hero is a hardy soul who withstands hardships with a grim smile. He loved sailing as he went on many Viking-like raids as a youth. It was in Lankhmar that he met the Grey Mouser. This hero is very emotional and willing to believe in wild tales and schemes far more readily than his shorter partner. Fafhrd has even gone so far as to take up religion on one occasion, which was short-lived but epic in the telling. Yes, it was. So that's Fafhrd. And now we come to the other half, the Grey Mouser, again illustrated by Jacques. Armor class 2, 96 hit points, neutral, 11th level fighter, 3rd level magic user, 15th level thief. Oh, it could be the Guinness I'm drinking, no. He's a 15th level thief. This short man of the western cities supplies the refinement and delicacy his brawny partner lacks. He calls his rapier scalpel, and the dagger he uses, balanced for throwing, cat's claw. The Grey Mouser is very fond of studying things arcane, but has not the magical skills to master his studies. He has a great aversion to anything sharp being pointed at him, an aversion that has saved his life many times. I always loved the description, Fafhrd and Mouser fighting at the gates of Lankhmar, and he comments that as Mouser is deflecting all these blows, parrying and so forth, he weaves a net of steel above him. He generally fights with scalpel in his right hand and cat's claw in his left, incurring no penalties to hit due to his phenomenal dexterity. Note, it's a 19. When so armed, he strikes 3 times per melee round with a 50% chance that the third strike will be either weapon. While the Mouser grew up on the streets, with all that implies, his teen years were spent with an old hedge magician who taught him the ways of law and a little magic. It was these days spent in the forest with his mentor that gave Mouser a streak of morality. It was shortly after this time that the young man met his lifelong friend Fafhrd. While the Grey Mouser is a thief, liar, and trickster supreme, he can be relied upon to keep faith for causes he supports and people he favors. Arth is a demigod. He is lawful neutral. He's a 30th level magic user, a 15th level cleric, and a 10th level fighter. Arth was once a powerful wizard, becoming so removed that after his death, he achieved demigodhood. Renowned. He achieved demigodhood. Because of the vast numbers of his worshippers, when the cult is suffering greatly, he will be brought to the prime material plane to help his followers. It's a nice hands-on deity. He instantly knows the powers of any device used against him, and he has a special spell that can negate any magical device as a rod of cancellation. When he takes personal part in battle, he fights invisibly. I mean, he's a 30th level magic user, guys. A little sword by Jeff D there. His temples are among the mightiest in all of Lankhmar. It seems that the more powerful patrons are devoted to the cult more out of fear of the revealing of information than faith in the might of the religion. Clerics can make it their personal duty to sneak about the town, learning all they can about the populace. The Astral Wolves. They are animal intellect, neutral evil, 3 hit dice. 2 to 8 damage. These creatures are wolves that have died hungry and now roam about the wastelands in astral form, seeking to fill their now ever empty bodies. All attacks are made in isolated areas. These creatures are able to force sleeping humans into the astral plane when there are 5 or more wolves concentrating on the act. Save versus spells applicable. When humans are attacked in the astral plane, their earthly bodies will show the damage of the wolf's fangs. Behemoth. 15 hit dice, animal, and it's basically a land whale. 4 to 40 from its mighty bite. Imagine a killer whale with 4 stubby legs and no fins, and you have a perfect picture of a swamp behemoth. These fearsome mammals are easily capable of crossing water, marsh grass, and quicksand. A behemoth always attacks the largest thing in any given group. It has a white cousin of the snowy north, which has a thick coat of fur and short claws on its feet. This snow beast is known to hunt during the fiercest of blizzards. There is also a jet black species with much longer legs that inhabits the plains and hills of Nawan. And we continue on. Bird of Taya. Number appearing 3 to 30. They are neutral evil. And they have a treasure type, Q, which, as you will recall, that is gemstones. This avian is closely related to the raven, but has a much higher level of sentience. It is commonly found in the mountains and hills. There's a 20% chance that the bird's claws are poisoned, and it is able to crush some types of deadly berries for that effect. The bird knows how to strike for exposed body parts and uses a diving attack. These evil birds are among the followers of the goddess Taya, QB. Cold Woman. She's unique, 180 hit points. Very intelligent, sees neutral. This creature is basically a huge white pudding. Her powers include illusion generation and a cold ray with a range of 6 inches that does 7 to 70 points of damage if it hits. Successful save versus spells indicates a miss. Saving throw is adjusted by dexterity modifiers, e.g. dexterity 17 gives a +3. Cold Woman bites for 4 to 40. Attacking is a 16 hit die monster, and those bitten who fail to save are paralyzed. But what happens then, you ask? Chopping or striking Cold Woman has no effect, as severed parts immediately rejoin the creature. Lightning has the same effect. Cold, of course, does not bother her in the least. Her corrosive secretions destroy metal at the same rate as a black pudding. Chainmail is destroyed in 1 round, plate in 2, with each magical plus of the armor adding a round to the time needed to corrode. She lures persons into her lair with gems and jewelry, which are scattered about her cave. She then paralyzes them and inserts one of her eggs into the body. Yeek. Little body horror there. In a day's time, the egg hatches in her spawn. A white pudding eats the host. The egg is easily removable, and the spawn will die if exposed to the air before hatching. In the Waste, it is said that excessively evil or greedy fall prey to her power most often. She always abandons a lair after laying 1 batch of eggs. Legend has it that there is only 1 Cold Woman at a time. All the rest await her death, and then the strongest one becomes the mother. Her young are known as Cold Spawn. I wonder if that's where that trope of slime girls started. Who knows? Don't Google that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just don't. Death, Greater God, armor class -5, move infinite, 350 hit points, number of attacks 10, 1 per segment, damage per attack special. He is neutral. He is not evil. He might look like a bad guy, but he's really not. He's got a job. He does it. Now the Great Elo by Jacques is there. Referred to as a minor death, this deity is responsible for all the dying on the world of Nawan. He is given quotas to be met by the Lords of Necessity, beings about which very little is known. He appears as a man with a cadaverous skin color and has the power to know the entire past history of a being at a glance. His sword slays anything it touches. On Nawan, all beings are mortal. It was pointed out that even death is aware that at some future date, he will die. He lives in a huge fort in the heart of the Shadowland, a land of perpetual twilight, where the dead rest under the earth to be called on at the will of death. Devourer, Alien Wizard. Armor class 7, 50 hit points, lawful evil, 5th level fighter, 13th level magic user, 25th level illusionist, 10th level thief. Aliens of high magical ability, these creatures are totally occupied with selling. This preoccupation forces them to any extreme in perfecting their art. The best of them sell only junk they have magicked into something appearing to be valuable. Aha, they're eBayers. They come from another prime material plane of existence. Their usual practice in any given place is to establish a sales beachhead and trick whole nations and people into trading all of their valued items for the Devourer's junk until all the valuables are gone and they must work as the Devourer's slaves to acquire the magician's worthless wares. A Nawan ghoul. And by the way, I should point out that this one is nude and it's female. If you missed that, there's the curve of her bosom. Well, I'm not going to highlight it. Don't want to get tagged. They're rare. They appear 1 to 100. They're armor class 10. 3 hit dice. 80% in their lair. Treasure type A. Number of attacks 1. Damage by weapon type. 80% invisible in the dark. Magic resistance standard. Intelligence average to vary. Now, alignment is neutral evil. Fafhrd, I believe, Fafhrd had a paramour who was a Nawonian ghoul and did not. She was confused and a little hurt by the fact that people did not want to be eaten by the ghouls. They just kind of viewed it as a natural order of things. They weren't particularly cruel or anything. They just sought out what they referred to as mud people, people who aren't transparent, anyone, for nourishment. They're just that alien. But yeah, Fafhrd pretty much laid down the law when he and she got together. Anyway, let's read on. Nawan's ghouls are not of the AD&D undead type, but are a species of humanoids unto themselves. They are almost totally transparent except for their bones, which are gray. They are often mistaken for skeletons and are almost invisible, 80%, in the dark. Once detected, however, they are easily kept track of. They enjoy the taste of human flesh and sometimes raid human settlements for loot and food. It is said that some ride ghoulish horses transparent to the bones like their masters. The Gods of Lankmar. Demigods, armor class 3, 200 hit points, number of attacks 1, damage 3 to 30, withering. They're neutral evil. Worshippers align neutral evil, and everybody in Lankmar. 15th level clerics, 5th level fighters, 20th level magic users. Ancient mummified skeletons sustaining themselves through the use of mighty magics. These beings are able to use spells twice as fast as mortal spellcasters. They each carry a double strength staff of withering. These gods appear only when their city is threatened with grave danger. When the problem is solved, they cast about the city, wreaking havoc as a reminder that they are not to be called on too often. They inhabit one large temple at the end of the Street of the Gods. The temple is a giant double-roomed structure with a set of 13 crypts underneath that hold the gods. The temple has no clerics. When worshippers wish a favor from the gods, they toss gifts into the door and hope for the best. The material is never there after an hour. Note, the gods of Lankmar are open to much free interpretation by the DM. There's a special difference between the gods of Lankmar, the oldest city in A1, and the gods in Lankmar. The gods in Lankmar are those of the many religions and the many temples lining the Street of the Gods. Some are powerful, some are weak, and their fortunes change with the quality and quantity of their worshippers, who are a fickle lot. Though most Lankmarts worship at one or another of the temples on the Street of the Gods, all secretly believe in and fear the gods of Lankhmar, who protect the city so that worship may continue. As long as this is the case, the gods of Lankhmar are indifferent to the existence of the gods in Lankhmar. I tell you what, Volcano God, I've said it before, I say it again, and I mean it. If I get 10,000 subs on the channel, I'll hold an in real life convention. I'll do it. Won't be for free. Gods of Trouble, lesser gods, 366 hit points. They are chaotic evil. They're 15th level clerics, 20th level magic user illusionists, 15th level assassins. These three beings of trouble have no constant form and are entities of energy that feed on all the trouble caused on the prime material plane. Within 30 feet of their forms, no magic works. And when they gaze at a being, that being fails in whatever he or she is attempting, no saving throw. When under attack of any kind, they are immediately transported to the astral plane before any force can hurt them. They enjoy roaming the world astrally, affecting all alignments equally. They have a very small sect of worshippers. The high priest of this cult has the gazing power of his god, saving throw versus spells applicable. They care nothing for their worshippers and inflict troubles upon them impartially if they should cross their path. The cult is quite naturally a rather fatalistic cult. No, it would still be Guac. Great overland. Our Great Underground Overland Gaming Convention. Hate. No hit points. Number of attacks, 6. Whole lot of special stuff. He's chaotic evil. No stats. Strength and intelligence of 10, respectively. So what is hate? Hate manifests itself as a thick gray fog with a few red orbs resembling eyes in the density. This fog is able to control up to 6 beings as in a mass charm spell, or manipulate up to 6 weapons in its tentacles as a set of 6th-level fighters. The manifestation of the god must be generated at night by a high priest of at least 10th level and 100 worshippers. The fog will instantly appear from the worshippers. Will appear from the worshippers and is able to travel the distance of 5 miles. Its only function is to do harm. Hate's physical form is attached to its area by the generation of a long, extremely tough silver red cord which is spun out behind it as it hunts for prey. The only way hate can be damaged is by cutting this pulsing cord, which cannot be seen from in front of the hate cloud. The cord is armor class -8, but any hit with a sharp weapon or a spell such as Magic Missile will cut it, dispelling hate's physical form until the next night it can be summoned. No LARP. No LARP at a con. One of mine, anyway. Isaac of the Jug. Now, I've often wondered if this was supposed to be a direct insult to or homage to Christianity, but and Volcano God, I'm drinking Guinness tonight. His armor class -3, hit points 2 to 10, lawful good. Worshippers align, lawful good. Symbol, man on a broken rack or a jug. 15th level cleric, 12th level paladin, 10th level magic user. Isaac appears as a tall man with twisted wrists and ankles, and his manifestations are always in humans who are being tortured on the rack. These men will destroy the rack and those hurting them. He carries a jug which is able to pour out any liquid the god wishes. His sect is a poor one and preaches the need to persevere under any hardships that life might bring. His clerics travel about, always appearing to be one of the poor, even if they are not. I don't know. I don't know if any of you guys can pull off this as far as cosplay. You might not like it, But this is what peak Dungeon Master perfection looks like. Kos, God of Dooms. He's a greater god. He's neutral. Neutral in fighters, cross, swords, and axe. Great set of stats. He is a 10th level druid, a 15th level ranger, a 20th level magic user. Kos appears as a northern barbarian of Naywan dressed in furs of ancient monsters from the world's past. He fights with an intelligent +6 broadsword, doing 8 to 80 points of damage per strike, but his code of honor prevents him from using it on beings with less than 100 hit points. Against them, he uses a +3 hand axe that does 3 to 30 points. I will not use my sword against you. Thank you, Kos. Chop. His +6 weapon will not allow itself to be used by other beings. It does 50 points of damage to any other being trying to handle it. The god is able to summon 9 to 90 berserkers per day for his purposes. Summons 9 of them. Wash my car. He is said to exist in the cold wastes of the north, viewing battles all over the plain and destroying cowards amongst his worshippers as soon as they show fear. Leviathan, 40 hit points. This squid-like creature lives on the bottom of the ocean. Bottom of the ocean! And comes up once annually to feed on ships that travel over its territory. The thing's main attack form is to come up on a ship, crack it open, and eat its softer contents. Each of its 8 tentacles does 4 to 40 points per strike, and when it grabs a ship or thing in the water with all 8 appendages, it does 30 hull points, 30 hull value points of damage per melee round. See Dungeon Master's Guide. Whenever the creature is taken more than half its hit points in damage, it retreats miles under the water. Greetings, Ricky. Movarl, hero, lawful good. He's a 12th level paladin. Bet you didn't think you'd see one of those in Naywan. Movarl is the most influential of the heroes of the world of Naywan, for he is, at least at times, overlord of the city of Kvarch Nar. However, he travels often amongst the cities and towns of the Great Forest to champion the cause of law and good. Movarl wields his great sword well enough to stand with the best of fighters, although he will not seek battle with any individual except those who are evil. He fears to fight no one and is immune to fear spells. His +1 two-handed sword does 2 to 20 points of damage per strike. The man is instantly aware of any evil being within 20 feet of him. Let's hear it for good old Movarl there. Naywan Earth God. They're chaotic evil. They're not nice. Lesser God, 300 hit points. This god is an aware piece of molten earth, able to assume any shape in this molten form. No forged weapon can hurt it. The tropical priests of Klesh serve this deity, who wishes to return all of Naywan to its molten state. The only thing preventing this deity from accomplishing this end is the hard crust of the world. Its temples can be found in desolate areas all over Naywan. These temples are usually rich in gems and gold. The god is able to control beings through a mass charm spell that it can cast through any gem consecrated to its sect. Its Kleshite clerics commonly use blowguns. And I guess that's who we're looking at there. Thank you, Jeff D. And we have Ningabul of the Seven Eyes, a wizard, as illustrated by Paul Jacques. We're going to read this one, and then we're going to ease on into stopping. I don't think he does that. No, Todd. All right. Actually, we're going to pick up on Ningabul next time. I have another stream I need to run off and do here at 8:30, and it is 8:27. by my clock. So we'll pick up with an Ingle tomorrow night. And then after some more Nawan deities here in Deities and Demigods, we're going to jump over and it's still going to be Guac. Anyway, we're gonna pick up and play some Gamma World tomorrow night. If I'm not completely brain fried, I may sleep most of tomorrow. But anyway, before I go, of course, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Thank you for hanging out with me. Love spending time with y'all. It's always a sagacious gas. Now, the best thing you can do to support the show is click the subscribe button. And we have had like 5 or 6 people subscribe. Welcome, newcomers. Thank you. Click the bell icon for notification. Give us a thumbs up if you like what you see. Leave a comment below. And, we'll comment back to you. There are some folks who literally help keep the lights on around here on a month-to-month basis. And I want to take a quick moment to thank those before I scoot. So thank you to Joshua Garlock, Lord Corion, Ricky Maru, Mobius, Kevin Reynolds, Doomsword Deathmaster, Mark Simpson, Damien247, James F. Keck, William Smith, the Dungeon Minister, Manny Wall, Mark Corey, Kevin Wood, Todd Sharp, Carnivore Farmer, Rob, Jeremy Rule, Boganora, Mikey Mank, Sky Hernstrom, Pete Sullivan, the DM's Council, and Baron Von Headbanger. Thank you guys very much for contributing to the ongoing success of this show, and anyone who would like to join them in that. You can support us on Patreon. You can support us on Subscribestar. You can buy me a coffee, or you can support us directly via PayPal. It's up to you if you want to do that. I love you guys just the same, and I thank you so much for your help and assistance. Todd wants me to mention the Discord. Yes, we do have a Discord channel. I don't have Discord open right now, and I do need to get going. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to dip. It's taking forever. It might not get mentioned tonight. There we go. So anyway, there's the Discord. You can come join us over there for chit chat and whatnot. So yeah, I have been awake all night. I'm going on hour 30. It's 36 and a half hours right now of being awake. So anyway, guys, I love you all. Thank you all for being here. Have a lovely evening, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Peace.